Hey there, welcome back. Alright, in this module, we're going to learn one of the simplest, yet most powerful methods of identifying waste in your workplace. And this method is called stand in a circle. And let me just say, it doesn't matter if your workplace is a factory floor, or in a hospital, or an office environment. The lean techniques that you're learning here at Gemba Academy, including what you're going to learn in this module, know no boundaries. Well, specifically, by the end of this module, you'll know exactly what standing in a circle means, what the 8 steps to standing in a circle are, and what tools and techniques are required to get the job done correctly. Okay, well, let's start things off with a discussion of what it means to stand in a circle. The Kaizen exercise we call stand in a circle originates in a teaching method Taiichi Ohno used, which involved a piece of chalk or tape, a circle drawn on the floor, and an employee left to stand in it for hours. Ohno would often return to check on what the person had learned through observation, and woe to the manager or employee who answered, "No problems here, sir," as he was sure to spend some more hours in that circle until they identified some issues. So that's what it is. Now, let's learn how to do it by discussing the 8 steps to standing in a circle. Well, the first step is to simply find a safe spot to stand so you can easily see what's going on in the workplace. And if possible, take a piece of chalk or some tape as shown here and draw a circle to help keep you from walking around. The second step is to simply stand and observe the activity around you. And while this might sound simple enough, allow me to offer a few tips. First, it's very important to just observe. In other words, don't comment or discuss what you're seeing with others at this point. Second, you'll want to describe exactly what you see and why you think it might be a problem. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, you want to stay in one spot so you can look deeply. Okay, well, the third step is to write down at least 30 small problems or types of waste that you observe. Now, this could be anything from watching an operator straining to reach his tools to computer cables strung out all over the floor, creating a trip hazard. Again, at this point, you want to really describe what you see. Now then, up to this point in the process, you've worked alone. But starting with the fourth step, we'll begin to involve others as we review our findings with team members, where, among other things, we'll work to identify the type of waste or inefficiencies we've observed, which is the 5th step of our process. Now, it should be noted that an observation will often have more than one waste assigned to it. For example, parts stacked on a cart sitting on the floor could be an example of the waste of overproduction and inventory. Now, the 6th step of our 8-step process has us working to identify the root cause of at least some of the items on the list by asking why several times. Well, by involving our team members, we're often able to quickly identify some countermeasures to several items on a list, which takes us into step 7, which challenges us to resolve at least one issue within the next 30 minutes. Now, in all cases, you'll want to prioritize safety and environmental issues first. But this doesn't mean that you can't address other items as well. Now, you'd be amazed how many improvements can be made when several people come together for 30 minutes. And this takes us up to the 8th and final step of the process, which is to share our findings as future improvement opportunities. In other words, it's unlikely that you'll be able to address all the items on the list in 30 minutes. So, it's important to form a plan for how and when these opportunities will be addressed. Now, a Kaizen newspaper, as shown here, is an excellent tool to help facilitate this process. Alright, well, let's wrap up this module by discussing what you'll need in order to properly stand in the circle. The first thing is a worksheet you'll document everything on. Now, you'll find a template in the resources section that you're free to download and use if you'd like. In addition to the worksheet, you'll need a pencil and clipboard or hard writing surface. And finally, if you do decide to draw a circle on the ground, a small piece of chalk or some tape will also be needed. And that's all there is to standing in a circle. So, now that we've covered an overview of the 7 wastes and know how to stand in a circle, it's time to dive into each of the 7 wastes in more detail, starting with the waste of defects. So, we'll speak to you soon.